The following film is rated TV MA-LSV and contains strong language, sexual situations, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Unless you've been living under a rock in the year 2025, chances are you'll have noticed that kids around the country have gone crazy over the meme 6'7". And if you're not a member of Gen Z or Gen Alpha, you're probably scratching your head and wondering, what does it mean? If you ask a kid, they're likely to tell you, it doesn't mean anything. We just like to say it. But from a linguistic point of view, that is the wrong answer, because there is no such thing as an expression in language that doesn't mean anything. Every utterance that is said always means something. You just have to look in the right place. Because here's the thing, people often think a word has no meaning when they can't find a specific reference for the word, like a thing that it points to, or an action that it describes, or a quality that it represents. And 6'7" is none of these. It's not a thing, it's not an action, and it doesn't describe any particular property or quality. So then why do we say it has a meaning? Well, it has a meaning because it serves a particular function, and that function occurs not at the semantic level, but at the pragmatic level. Let's look at what that function is. Before we get into that though, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you'll be the first to know when I release my next video. Now back to our topic. 6'7" is what pragmaticians would call a phatic expression. This is something that is said not to convey new information, but to signal belonging to a group. It is uttered to build rapport or to maintain a social bond. So in other words, it is a bonding mechanism, a type of speech act. Imagine yourself walking down the hallway. You see a friend of yours and you shout, "What's up?" Your friend shouts back, "What's up?" And you walk past each other. Now, what does that "what's up" mean in this context? It doesn't really mean what is happening in your life, because when you say it, you're not genuinely seeking information. You say "what's up" just as an acknowledgement of the other person's presence. What's up in this situation is a phatic expression. It is an expression used for bonding. Let's look at some other examples. When a fan of Star Wars runs into another fan, they might be tempted to say,
"May the Force be with you,"
signaling that they are both fans of the Star Wars franchise. This greeting has nothing to do with whether the Force is with you or not. The purpose is purely social. They say it for the purpose of building rapport. When two natives of San Francisco run into each other, they might say something like, "Go Giants," or "Go Warriors." Again, the purpose is to signal in-group solidarity. Back when 6'7" hadn't been invented yet, I remember kids used to say "skibbity bop bop" when they run into each other. People will tell you that skibbity bop bop doesn't mean anything, when in fact, it's something kids say to signal group belonging. Another thing that people do with phatic expressions is called phatic play. They will deliberately lure people who are not in their group to utter the expression in the wrong context and then make fun of them. So for example, kids will do everything in their power to get a teacher to unwittingly say 6'7" and then laugh out loud. This is known as boundary play. They engage in this activity to establish who is in the group and who is not. This activity builds in-group solidarity by highlighting insider knowledge and outsider confusion. So to recap, 6'7" is a speech act that clearly serves a pragmatic function. It is a marker of in-group identity. It is uttered to strengthen social bonds and to exclude people who are outside of the group. Now, when Chinese people hear kids say 6'7", many of them will say, "Wait a minute, Chinese has the expression too." Some of them will go so far as to say the English 6'7" is a corruption of the Cantonese expression "luk tat", which has been around for a while. Is it? I can tell you, it is not. Where does the English 6'7" come from? The official Wikipedia page says that it comes from the rapper Skrilla's hit single "Doot Doot", which uses 6'7" to refer to police radio code 1067, which refers to the report of a death. The meme was later popularized by NBA players such as LaMelo Ball, who happened to be 6'7".
Yeah.
But the important thing here is that 6'7" in English is a phatic expression used for bonding, whereas the Chinese 6'7" is a swear word with clearly negative connotations. Let's look at the Cantonese expression 6'7", or luk tat. In Cantonese, the number 7, tat, sounds the same as the word for a man's private parts. When you look at a man's private parts in English, there are more formal ways to refer to it, such as phallus or penis, and then there are more vulgar ways to refer to it, such as dick or cock or prick. In Cantonese, the word sat leans more towards the vulgar. It is more like dick than it is like phallus. So when the iPhone 7 first launched in 2016 with the slogan, "This is 7," many people in Hong Kong thought the line was preposterous because in Cantonese, it sounded like, "This is a dick." So that's the 7 part of 6-7. What about the 6 part? Well, the number 6, look in Cantonese, is a noun classifier. We talked about noun classifiers in an earlier video. Here's a quick review. Pretty much every noun needs a classifier. You cannot put the number directly in front of a countable noun. So you would have to say, instead of a book, a volume of book, 一本书. Instead of 2 cookies, you would have to say 2 pieces of cookies, 2块饼干. Instead of 3 bananas, you would have to say 3 sticks of bananas, 3根香蕉. Pretty much every noun needs a classifier in Chinese. So in Chinese, all nouns need a classifier when it's linked to a number or a determiner. And the classifier for penis in Cantonese happens to be look, which sounds like the number 6. Look is used for all things that are long and cylindrical in shape. So yat luk guan is a wooden stick, yat luk zok is a bamboo stick, and yat luk cat is a stick of penis, so to speak. That said though, luk cat in Cantonese is rarely used to refer to an actual penis. Rather, like many nouns that have developed a pejorative meaning, the word tends to be used as an intensifier, that is, as an adjective or adverb that amplifies emotional strength. So for example, in English, we could ask dumbass questions and call somebody a dick, which have nothing to do with the actual body parts. In Cantonese, people use the word cat or luk cat in expressions such as Gam yat ho cat yid, it's hot as ass today. Hui pao dak ho cat fai, he runs so fucking fast. Hui di man te luk cat do, he's got a dick ton of issues. Luk cat can also be used as an emotive interjection, an expletive that stands on its own, kind of like English shit or crap or damn it. So in Cantonese you can say, luk cat la, ding wan mo din, oh crap, the phone's gone dead. Or luk cat la, gay dat dai so si, damn it, I forgot to bring my keys. So Cantonese, just like English, has its own version of 6-7, but the similarities end there, because 6-7 in Cantonese is a lot more pejorative and a lot more vulgar, whereas its English counterpart in comparison is relatively vanilla, which is why it's so kid-friendly. So 6-7 is not something you'll want to say in front of Cantonese-speaking parents, because they may not understand the term the same way that you do. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Remember to like this video if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you next time.
6 times 7 is
42.
2025 plus 42 is
2067.
6-7.